Hi guys, we're gonna cover the famous clip from the Gilbert Arenas podcast where Gilbert and Rashad are talking about Coach Popovich being a bad coach. Let's get the clip started.
There's no pressure.
This whole time I've been thinking that Pop was
on his
just a
way
bad coach.
Why would you think that?
Because he's just been losing without good players.
The finesse is in.
When you're losing without good players,
Are you serious?
all right.
Again, very controversial take from a former NBA player, a known player, Rashad. And he has these hot takes from time to time, which are very interesting. But he's saying that he used to think Pop was a good coach, but now he thinks he's a bad coach. And the reason is because he's been losing without good players. My first retort would be, or my first question would be, point to me the coaches that have won with bad players, right? And I think for someone who may be casually watching the Spurs games are competitive, right? These guys are not getting blown out, even though they lost the last couple of seasons in order to get the number one pick. Did they not deserve it for giving you 20, 25 years of excellence, even with teams led by role players? For guys like me who watched the Spurs from, say, 2009 to 2011, 2012, Gary Neal, I think undrafted, DeJuan Blair, second round. We can go through the list of players that they had on their team. There's a guy that I forgot who just started hitting like game winners for them, a three-point shooter, Roger Mason Jr. possibly, again, someone who had been bounced around for a while. That's nonsense, right? Everybody who knows basketball knows that Greg Popovich can field five guys from the street, and if he wants, he'll make them a playoff contender, right? He's not taking into account any of the injuries that the Spurs had a couple of years in a row. The Spurs have almost made the bubble, right? Or almost made that knockout round, that college system that they've adopted. Again, you need superstars. The NBA is a superstar-driven league. Let's look at the team that won the NBA Finals this year. You had the Denver Nuggets. The Denver Nuggets had Jokic, MVP, Jamal Murray, All-Star point guard, Michael Carter Jr. They had KCP. They had Aaron, I forget his name, Aaron Carter, Aaron, whatever his name is, big old dude who used to play for the Magic, Aaron Gordon. So you need talent to win, and you need depth. So this is a very controversial and interesting take.
Is that a serious statement he made?
Yeah.
No, he's serious about everything. Do you honestly believe that?
Yeah. Can I continue?
Okay, I'll let you go.
Can I continue?
Please.
So just like Doc Rivers, when you don't got the Hall of Fame type players, you go on this skid and not performing up to the par of your champion.
So again, terrible example, right? You can't compare him to Doc Rivers. Popovich has coached only in the Western Conference. Anybody who knows basketball knows when he took over in the 90s till recently, the West has been the most talented and the most deep conference, right? Maybe minus the last couple of years. So when you're going regularly against, in the beginning, Chris Webber and boys in the Kings, Shaq and boys in the Lakers, Dirk Nowitzki and boys in the Mavericks, the Portland Trailblazers with Scottie and Rasheed Wallace and all these guys. Every round that you're playing is a challenge, and you consistently make it into the playoffs without missing the playoffs, and you make it into the Western Conference Finals, the semifinals, the championship, the NBA Finals. How can you say that this guy's a bad coach? He has not always had the best talent on his team. This is the fallacy people believe in, and I hear this a lot from Spurs haters. They go, but you had Parker and Ginobili. Parker and Ginobili were not guys who were looked at as NBA caliber superstars, all-stars when they came into the league. Ginobili barely made it into the league at the end of the second round. He wasn't a part of the draft. He was sleeping when he got drafted because he had no idea he would be drafted. Parker, I believe, was the end of the first round, and they weren't sure if he was going to make it, right? They were thinking about cutting him. In multiple trade talks over the years, in the beginning, they were going to trade up for Jason Kidd at one point. So this is what happens when you see the end of someone's career and you project that cumulative body of work into the beginning of their career. That's not fair.
So Pop, since when? What, Kawhi? We ain't seen nothing. And then, like Gil just said, literally.
Okay, since Kawhi. Was Kawhi destined to be an NBA champion, NBA Finals MVP, one of the best players in the league? No. They traded George Hill to get him from the Indiana Pacers. And the reason the Pacers got rid of him is they didn't think Kawhi would turn into what he turned into, right? Popovich and them helped him develop into that. And they were very close to probably beating, in my opinion, Kevin Durant and Steph Curry-led Warriors in the Western Conference Finals. I believe they would have beat them. So again, this is all misinformation.
you've been tanking this whole time and we ain't been paying attention. But now we want to give him credit for being a good coach.
Grace.
You want to give him credit for being a good coach because he don't got no good players and he not winning.
No, he has good players.
What a good player. Why you got the number 1 pick?
Because he tanked
They
for the
tank.
number 1
They
pick.
have good players in the Spurs.
So adding Wemby with the little bit of pieces that they got around, they're gonna add a couple more pieces. They could be good like they was when Sean Elliott and David Robinson. They add a couple more.
How many times does having talent on your team necessarily equal into a championship? Look at all the teams who have had talent, but they don't win. The Spurs had arguably less talent than the Miami Heat in 2013 and 2014, and they wiped the floor with them in 2014. And even when they lost in 2013, they went to Game 7, where they were supposed to win that Game 6, right? When they shut down Shaq and Kobe, even though people say, oh, Shaq was injured, his toe is this, it was a team effort. The schemes that they employed, the double teaming, the early fouling, right? Tim Duncan going into legend mode. So just because you have the talent doesn't mean that you're necessarily going to win a championship. Why am I saying that? The Spurs won 5 of them. Others have not, even though they've had the talent.
Add a couple more pieces, but until then, haters gonna hate. You know what I'm saying? But I know how to back my shit up. Like I know Greg Popovich ain't no goddamn good coach.
Oh, God.
You know he's not a good coach?
He's bugging. He done double down.
What you double down on what? You got 3 excellent.
But who made them in the So Tony, since you say that, right? So was Tony Parker projected to be a Hall of Famer when he got drafted?
Nope. Is he a Hall of Famer right now?
He's gonna be a Hall of Famer. Let's stop the bullshit.
I'm
boy.
not stopping nothing. I'm asking a question.
Well, it's the point that I exactly made. Was he projected to be a Hall of Famer? He was not. He wasn't a Hall of Famer his first whatever years, right? He didn't play like an All-Star. He hasn't made many All-Star teams, right? So this is like, again, a revisionist history.
Question.
Yes.
Tony Parker's a Hall of Famer. Absolutely, yes.
Not a Hall of Famer right now.
He's a Hall of Famer.
He's not a Hall of Famer right now.
Manu Ginobili
Will be a Hall of Famer.
Was he projected
was
to be a Hall of Famer?
No.
He was a second round pick.
Yes.
How many people are projected to be Hall of Famers?
A lot of people.
Tim Duncan was the first pick. I'm
Was
pretty
Tracy
sure
McGrady
Was
Tracy McGrady projected to be a Hall of
You got to
Famer?
pay attention to what
Kinda.
he's saying.
You're not understanding what he's saying.
Yeah,
the
you
only
missed it.
only
You
the only
missing it.
person that they got that was good was Tim Duncan.
But you're not understanding what I'm
Tim
saying.
Duncan.
You're not understanding what I'm
To
saying.
being Hall of Famers.
Yeah, but you're not
So
coaching
who
these
else-
guys that you got now into being Hall of Famers.
How you know?
So he's saying that he's not Pop is not coaching these guys now into being Hall of Famers again. If you watch these guys play, Kate Johnson, Primo, all these guys that they've had on the team, Sohan, Coach Pop is absolutely coaching them to be the best versions of themselves, right? Coach included some of them into the NBA Olympic team, right, when they probably wouldn't have made it. So again, emotional argument, not anything that's based on logic or fact.
Because what do you mean? How did he tank
he
the
has an
season?
opportunity.
He just tanked the season.
They take the season before. Man got 5
The year
championships.
before that. What was last
Man
year?
got 5 championships.
What was
you
last
talking
year?
about 1-2 seasons. Man got
The
5
reason, the reason that nobody,
5.
in my opinion, the reason nobody's saying anything is because of what he's already done.
Exactly.
He's not somebody where he hasn't proven himself. He's already been proven. Like, it's done. Pop, great coach.
You've been proving it
done
when you
deal.
had a full plate.
Done.
What was the
done
fourth? He
deal.
he cooked it.
He was
He
the
cooked
chef.
the plate.
Bro.
He
He was
set
the
the
chef.
table.
He was the chef.
The talent.
He cooked it.
Who's the
Yeah.
talent?
Who's on the team? Gil, what are y'all talking about?
He made the ingredients.
After they won in '99?
How did they get Tim
Bro, I'm
Duncan? You're not even hearing what
I heard you said they tanked for
They
Tim
had
Duncan.
56 wins.
Yes, and then they
Their
won.
best season.
You're moving the goalpost.
No, they're tanked to 20 games.
Right?
Yes.
So they can get Tim Duncan.
Yes.
Add him with the 56 wins.
Yes.
Championship.
Yes. Then after that, what happened?
Championship.
The next year, the next year was there a champion? Was there a championship
No,
the next
because
year?
David Robinson, all those old
Was
guys
there-
left.
I understand how many they got. When they won in '99, did they win in 2000?
No.
Did they win in 2001?
No.
Did they win in 2002?
Why?
So again, not knowing history, not knowing about Tim Duncan's knee injury, not knowing how deep the Western Conference is, not knowing how deep the Spurs went, not realizing that Mario Elie, David Robinson, Avery Johnson, Steve Smith, all these guys were getting old, right? Way past their prime. So this is where nuance and having information to substantiate your arguments would be much more effective.
Did they? And it ain't about lying. I'm not asking them why. I'm asking questions.
No.
So they didn't. When did they win again?
Everybody only
When
one
did they
winner
win
every
again,
year.
though?
Only one winner.
When did they win again?
2004.
When the
One
talent
team.
had seasoned. The talent had
talent.
So imagine what he started off by saying, said, he's a bad coach. Only one team wins every year. Does that mean that all the other teams are coached by bad coaches? Of course not.
What talent?
What talent? The talent that who picked?
You guys are acting like you don't know.
talent?
Tim Duncan, Manu Ginobili,
Second round.
all the guys
Who
who
picked them and coached
they're
them?
at the time that they won the second championship in
Who
Spurs,
picked them
they
and
were
coached them?
seasoned.
Who picked them and coached them?
Listen, bro.
They didn't pick and coach them.
What is
And look at the genius of Popovich and R.C. Buford, right? These guys are picking diamonds in the rough. These guys are looking, they're like, look, we're never going to get a top round pick because we perform so well every year that we're never going to get another top pick again, at least in the immediate future. And they're finding diamonds in the rough. Another example of great leadership, great coaching, and great vision.
Listen, what is that? Listen, this is what I'm saying. If he could do it then, why is he not doing it now?
Because he got his
'Cause he
player
got
now.
No,
Like he
listen,
got
I ain't
Tim
talking about
Duncan.
his player.
something
I'm
to
talking
build
about
around.
listen, I'm talking about the players
Got
that
something
you
to build
have.
around. He built around Tim Duncan. They're
Listen.
gonna build around this kid.
I understand that.
So has he had the opportunity to build around his kid yet?
He had Kawhi Leonard.
Kawhi left.
Kawhi left.
Gone.
Exactly. This is what I'm saying. Like, why did
They weren't trying to build around
listen,
him.
listen, man. This is what I'm saying.
They weren't
When
trying to
you're
build around
when you're a
him.
coach and you
Emotional argument for sure.
Traded him.
and you have lesser talent, and you go all the way down to the bottom of the pole to take up to get another player that you can build around. Like, you have to show me now that you can win with this new guy, or you're not a good coach.
So has he coached this?
This is my
Why
perception.
already
It's not gonna line up with y'all's
Has he
perception.
coached this kid yet? Has he coached the
You
potential
haven't
number one
seen
pick
nothing
yet?
yet. That's what I'm saying.
Has he
you're
coached
trying
the potential number one
I
pick yet?
can give my opinion and then not line up with
No,
y'all.
fuck you.
Telling us enough. He's not always saying, oh, this is my opinion. It's not going to line up with what you guys are saying. Again, a hot take, controversial take, maybe doing it intentionally, who knows. But of course, a take that I would say the vast majority of basketball fans, NBA players, former players don't agree with, right? To create an effective system in a sport that is filled with men with egos, right? NBA players have egos, large egos, and we know about this, the lifestyle, the expenditures, how much money they spend on jewelry and cars and this, and to get men together to be able to hold them accountable, discipline them, cuss them out even without any reprimand. It shows that Coach Popovich is a strong leader, a visionary, and he's able to manage and control egos and, more importantly, men. So again, fundamentally disagree, and let me know what you guys think in the comments below, and we'll talk to you guys soon.